What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the weekly roundup. My name is Manny from Manny Reads Comics. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and I am joined here by two of my co-hosts. Nick, how's it going, man?
It's going great. You can follow me over at the Vinyl Casket on all social media platforms.
Nice. And then Carlos.
What's going on, everybody? This is Carlos from Omni City Comics. You guys can find me on Instagram. Let's talk some comics, man.
Yeah, and before we get into comics, though, this is what we do on each of these shows is we go through our top 3 books, explain why we like the book, why it beat out the rest, and then we get to our number 1. We add that to our brackets that will eventually reveal what our top book of the year is. Then we go through our disappointment of the week. This can be an art panel. This could be a character's action. It could be a whole book itself, whatever it was, comic related. Then we go back up and we talk about our favorite cover of the week, and we ended up with what we're looking forward to at the end for next week. But real quick, let's remind you of our brackets. Mine currently is just one book. Once in Future 25 is leading the way for this month. It's definitely the best book, and I don't know what these guys are going to talk about, but it doesn't count. But Nick, what was your number 1 last week?
Last week, my number 1 was Twig, issue 1 from Image Comics, written by none other than the late, great, amazing, current Mr. Scotty Young.
Yo, he's so amazing. Dude died and came back to life, man.
Yeah, late. Well, he's not late. He's still here. He's present.
He's late to the party.
And then Carlos, you're about to say something very similar.
Dude, something like exact. For me, it was also Twig, number 1 for comic of the week last week.
I didn't realize it until last week, but my co-hosts are a couple of simps, so they went with Twig. But before we get started into this week's top 3, if you like what you see, if you like what you've seen, or if you haven't seen our other shows, make sure you go to like, subscribe, and check out the other videos. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk our top 3. For me, I'm giving you guys crap for picking a number 1 as your top pick, but I will pick a number 1 for my number 3 pick. All right,
it's still top pick. It's still top pick. It's still top pick.
And that is 8 Billion Genies number 1. And that was a good book. It basically, the main premise of that book is that one day everyone on Earth, every single person on Earth got a genie, and the genie offered them one wish, only one wish, and that's it. That's the book right there. And it was just as chaotic as it sounds, but it was also surprisingly logical. One of our main characters, he immediately made this really, really smart wish that protected him from basically all other wishes. And he has an establishment, a bar. So everyone that's in that bar can't be affected by outside wishes. But you do see how these wishes, so like it was like the first 8 seconds, like the total population of Earth goes down, right? The first 8 minutes, Earth becomes a cube. And then you're just seeing all these people, like, people are giants, people can fly, people can teleport, and people have money. You see bombs going off. It's just chaotic, but this bar can't be affected by any of it, and that's where all of our main characters are. So
wait, so quick question here. Like that was his one wish. He wished for a bar that was not affected by anything else outside. Like that was the wish.
This is what was so smart about it. Like, as soon as the genie appears, hey, I'm your genie. You have one wish. As soon as he finished that sentence, the bartender went, I wish that no other wishes can affect my bar or anybody inside the bar. And that was it.
So would this be too, because I passed on this book, and I almost got it, and typically when I pass an indie book and I hear good things about it, I go back during the weekend to pick it up. And the way that you're describing it sounds like I'm gonna go back and
top 3, man. And you need to
and pick it up. But would this be too spoilery for anybody watching? Because you said that the moment that the genie showed up, like this guy, he knew exactly what he needed to do. How does he find out that like everybody else is getting a wish and he needs to protect himself, or is that too spoilery?
No, so for anybody watching, this is our top 3. We're going to talk about our book, so we're going to do spoilers if we want to. Within ourselves, if we ask each other not to do spoilers, we won't do it. But other than that, if we don't say no spoilers, just assume spoilers.
Yeah. And
Your question.
and I don't mind, like, for the most part, spoilers on this issue. But you know how sometimes we say, doesn't matter if you ask, we're not giving any spoilers because we can't give spoilers. You have to read the book.
I don't mind about this one because
Right.
it's a number one. I don't.
All right, okay,
it's
cool.
not anything too epic that happened, right?
All right,
but
perfect.
Basically, he's the owner of this bar. He was bartending at the moment, so he not only did he see his genie, but he saw a bunch of other people's genies just pop up at the same time.
Oh,
so he just immediately,
all right.
Something is fishy about this guy. Like, there's more than meets the eye with him.
Okay, all right.
So like, I want to know what's going on there. But like, some of the main players so far is a kid with his drunk dad at the bar. We got this like band that's going nowhere. So we're gonna see what's going on with the band. And then you just got other bar patrons, and so like, that's the main premise right now. There's not really a main character.
Oh, that's cool.
This is Image.
This is Image Comics. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool,
I saw it. I saw it in the shop, and I was gonna get it, and then I decided not to.
I had to get it just because of the cover. I was like, the genie's cute, so that's what pulled me in. Then I read the synopsis, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna read it. And honestly, I'm glad I read it. So
all right, cool.
That's number 3. Nick, what you got?
So let's just start off with saying that this was a midweek, and I'm pretty sure if I'd gotten 8 million genies or whatever it was, it would have made my top 3 easy.
I want to say that if you say it's mid, then all your books are like really good. Like,
so number 3, and just a disclaimer, I know we talked about what I was looking forward to last week. For this week, I was not able to get that Transformers book, but I will be getting it. So that probably would have made my top 3. But my number 3 is issue 10 of Nocterra.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
A series that after it came back from hiatus, I was kind of iffy with that first issue back about how I felt about it. Then, the next prevailing issues, I started to like the tone and the direction they were going, and I liked all these new characters. This issue, I just liked it. It was well paced. Nothing crazy. It wasn't an amazing issue. It was consistent. It was solid. It keeps the story going, and it starts the second act or the third act or whatever it is.
I think it's the second act.
Yeah. I would say second act.
It says the big panel, right?
Yeah.
There's a double page spread that says, and then a quarter, and I don't know. It was good. It was really good artwork. I like the Nocturne stuff. That's why it's my number 3. But it was a solid issue. It's a solid series overall.
It's funny because I've been liking Nocterra, but it's been consistent with me. Like, it hasn't gone up or down in value since the beginning for me. But this one, I feel like you're gonna think it's just because it's your pick, but this one kind of brought it this way, like just slightly. Because
that's how I felt about the first issue back from hiatus.
Yeah, no, it's because Bailey completely did like a 180 of her character, though. One of my favorite things about her, and if you go back and watch these shows, as I said, that Bailey is very logical and she doesn't let her emotions get to her. And in this issue, though, it's just complete opposite of what she's like. So
but
I was like, what are you doing? Girl, what are you doing? I was so mad at her.
It's understandable because this woman who saved her life.
Yeah, but it's the woman that's telling her to go. And like, it literally is the fate of the world. Like,
yeah, but she's already lost everything. She doesn't want to lose that one thing. It's the one thing she does not want to lose.
I get it. I understand her motives behind it. I can understand her motives all day, but at the end of the day, it's like, pick one woman and die with everybody else in the world, or save the world. You are literally the only person that can save it. You have this responsibility.
I'm so excited to see these giant monsters, though.
Yeah, they're gonna mess things up, and I'm excited to see Bill and Bill fight.
Yeah, I'm upset that they went on hiatus. I feel like the series would be, because I feel like those first 6 or 7 issues, whatever it was there was a lot of momentum. I enjoyed it a
Agreed.
lot. I liked this series a lot. And
Agreed.
ever since it came back, I haven't felt that same enjoyment. The issues are good, the series is good, the story is good, but it's missing that oomph, that Radiant Black, another Image title that came out around the same time as this one. You know, Radiant Black is what, like 15 issues in, and they're
yeah, 14 book.
they're only on issue 10, so like there's a 5-month gap, something like that. And I feel like Radiant Black, every time it comes out, I'm very excited. I can't wait. I love it. The momentum's been there since, you know, the momentum was there, and I feel like it just hasn't been able to recreate that connection to the first 6 issues.
I agree. I feel like it is coming to an end. Like it does just feel like it's coming to a conclusion, not continuing, which is weird because.
And like the Blacktop Bill special didn't do anything for me. It was all just repeated once we got back.
Okay.
You know, I definitely agree with you in what the hiatus did to the book, and I feel like that happens to just about any book. You know, it's hard. It's hard to capture that magic and keep that momentum going, like you mentioned. It's actually my number 3 pick as well, because
I had a feeling.
Yeah, because this issue, I think that it started to give me that oomph again, you know, where it's starting to build up towards an end goal, you know. And I feel like seeing Bailey do this 180, while like you mentioned, Manny, it definitely goes against her character when she was first established, because I also like the logical and, you know, thoughtful sense that she the way that she approached things. But I like seeing her evolve into, you know, the person that she's becoming in this world. I feel like there are actual stakes for her now, because like Nick mentioned, she's basically lost everything, right? And I do find it really interesting that I feel like the series is shifting the focus on, or shifting the idea of who the main character of this storyline is, from Val over to Bailey. And I don't know, I don't quite know how I feel about that yet, because the reason why I started loving this book was because of Val. Like, I like, you know, I like her character, and I like the I guess the motivation behind, you know, why she's doing what she's doing, and her backstory.
The same could be said about Radiant Black. You know, you like Nathan, and then out of nowhere, Nathan's out of the picture. You know,
right?
So,
but unlike Radiant Black, though, Nocterra quite hasn't done the job of making me really feel invested, I guess, in Bailey. Whereas with Marshall, like Nathan's a chump. Now, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So I don't know, but I like this issue because, again, it's you know, Sundog Convoy teaming up with Blacktop Bill, who's supposed to be their arch, you know, like enemy. I'm sure that it's gonna go very wrong for them. But we have a big bad. You know, there's a goal for them, and we're on the second act. I also do agree with you, Manny. I think that we're getting towards, you know, the last push of the series. I'm sure that the storyline can continue, but I think that, you know, we'll close out this storyline, and if it does come back, it's gonna be one of those new volumes, new season, new chapter, you know, kind of things. But I think that we're maybe gonna push towards 18, 20 issues, maybe, you know, 18
Which
issues.
is weird because they're like making this whole push about Netflix and making it a TV show and stuff, and it's like, you're just gonna end it at 2 seasons then?
I feel like there's a possibility for, if they do bring the light back, there's a rebuild civilization.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
They're gonna have these people that started the Nocturnes are still gonna be there trying. You know, they're gonna deal with this government and whatever that was doing this on purpose, and who created this and all these people that like kind of like now you have this fraction of whatever that are trained to kill everyone that now
Yeah.
everyone is they're exposed to. You
Yeah,
know,
but like, how far can
kind of
that
like
really
Maze
go?
Runner,
You know, like I feel like
kind of
that's
like
like
Maze
a
Runner.
2 or 3 issues maybe
Yeah.
of that.
I mean, again, it just really depends if the storyline and the premise is there. If they do continue it, I don't know. We'll see. But the last thing I want to say though, the art has been consistent. That to me doesn't feel like it's dropped in quality at all.
No.
And I really do continue enjoying that. So yeah, that's why it's my number 3 pick.
Both of you did make me change my mind, I guess, about Bailey. Because now that I think about it, it's like when we did meet her, you know, she only had this one person. It was her grandpa, and that was
She
it.
barely
And now
knew. She had never met her
yeah,
before.
she barely knew him.
Exactly.
And now she has an actual family. She has a potential love interest with Adam. Like
Yeah.
now she has more to lose, and so that would make her change her train of thought.
I don't
guess.
like.
And also, she's a kid, man. I mean,
No.
Kinda.
You're about to
You know
save
what I
the
mean?
world. You're not a kid anymore. So,
Nah, well,
I'm
know.
annoyed that the first half of the series heavily focused on the brother
I was annoyed
on
by that.
Emery.
Yeah,
Emery, and then
can kick
he's
rock.
like a background character now.
Good. That's the best part about Nocterra, honestly. That's I hated Emery. Like from the very first issue, I was like, this guy is gonna cause problems. Like that's what he's here for, is to cause problems. And he did. So, but I feel like he may be in the background, but he is like known to create the weapons and the light technology. So
but I feel like that's one of the elements that's like lacking, because like they're not doing that good of a job of developing the characters at the same time.
Yeah, the ones that they do, they kill off. So that's true. That's a good point. All right, I'm gonna move on to number 2. My number 2.
Go for it.
Shocking. It's 7 Secrets, number 17.
Wait,
not
what?
at number 1.
7 Secrets is not top book?
Not at number 1. Yeah, that was a tough choice. Honestly, I had to go back and forth. But
all right, okay.
Thomas Taylor.
So upon Casper's death, we get flashbacks from Eva of how Casper gained the power that he has, and basically what it is she was the holder of the 7th secret, and when she got pregnant, the contents of that briefcase went into her baby, which is Casper, and it's basically a god. And a god went into Casper and explained to her, you know, I'm going to be inside your son, but when the time comes, your son's going to die. I'm going to take over. You need to groom me. You need to groom your son to be able to take over and rule. And she was not having any of that. So it was just a flashback episode, and just to lead us to the final issue of 7 Secrets next month. But what the main reason I love this book in general, like this, not this issue, but this book, is that it isn't dialogue heavy, but it is dialogue heavy. You just don't feel it. It does a really good job of pacing and having the action plus the dialogue. Everything's explained. Nothing is questioned. Like the questions that you have are good questions. They're not plot hole questions. They're like the questions that they want you to ask, you know? So like I've been feeling with other books that, oh man, I'm reading way too much, or this is a little bit boring. I enjoy what I'm reading, but it's just a lot of reading. And then this one is too much action. Nothing's really going on. No plot was moved forward. And 7 Secrets does both perfectly. So that's why it's my number 2 book. Pacing is amazing, and it was a good flashback. It was a good explanation, kind of cliche, but good explanation of what happened with Casper.
Yeah. You know, this issue is actually my number 1 pick. So I'm gonna skip forward and go into my number 1 pick. But yeah, man, my number 1 pick for all the reasons that you mentioned. But just because it made my number 1, just because it keeps on giving you those, what the fuck, you know, kind of moments. And I feel like Tom Taylor has gone like, you know.
Also, yeah, I'm gonna put it up right now.
Yeah, counter.
Taylor count.
Counter. Tom Taylor counter. He just goes all out, man, with his, like, you know, like wacky ideas. And I mean that as a compliment. I knew that obviously Caspar was going to be some kind of powerful being, you know what I mean? But the weight that it's that it's the fact that he would have to give his life without even knowing, but Eva and Sigurd, his dad, knowing what the ultimate outcome was gonna be, that's just heartbreaking, man. And it gives new context to all of the issues that we've read, and how difficult, basically every choice that Eva and Sigurd have had to make in terms of Caspar and his future, his life, have been. So it makes me appreciate everything that I've read, all the previous issues that I've read, and this issue elevates the entire series because of that. And that's why it basically made its way to my top pick. But it's not without some criticism, because while this issue is, getting us towards the end of this overall storyline, I find myself feeling like the interest that I originally had, as far as the 7 secrets, I thought we were going to spend a lot of more time with each of the secrets. I thought that, each secret was really going to play into this society, into this world a lot more. And I am starting to feel like the story is a little bit rushed. And all the other secrets were more, they were more, I don't know, what's what I'm looking for here. Almost like each secret was a background character.
Yeah, I was gonna say
if
each
that makes
secret
sense.
kind of just is a backup to these two gods, this god and demon about to fight each other. They all had to deal with just that thing and not the world itself, which kind of sucks.
Exactly, and also we have one issue left, and I find myself not knowing what the ultimate motivation of this, demon and this god is. I mean, we don't have to know their exact backstory, but I feel like the conflict is being simplified to demon wants to destroy a world because it's a demon, and that's what demons do. And the god is there to stop it because that's what good gods do. You know what I mean? They stop demons.
It looks like they're both trying to subjugate the Earth. It's either way, it's a lose-lose situation for Earth.
Right. And I guess I'm hoping that in the end, it's not as simplified as what it seems. But the issue outside of that, great issue. The storyline still, continues to be great. Artwork has not dropped in quality at all. It's been fantastic, phenomenal. But yeah, those are the only issues that I see, and depends on how the overall story is gonna close out. And I'm just hoping that I don't get that same rushed kind of feeling that I got from how Taylor ended Dark Ages. I know something completely different,
but rushed, though, for sure.
But because of the fact that this is written by Tom Taylor, it just brought me back to the feeling that I had with Dark Ages. And again, I'm hoping that it's a very satisfying conclusion to what has been an overall very satisfying title.
Well, I feel like his DC switch rushed a lot of his stuff and made his stuff feel
could be
rushed.
I mean I know for a fact that was the case with Dark Ages, and he even said so in so many words. But he's been working on 7 Secrets for a long time. I mean, I would imagine it's his creator-owned book, so I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, that's my number 1 pick, guys. And that's what I have to say about
it's a phenomenal number 1 pick. And Nick, I don't think you're reading it, so what's your number 2 pick?
This is a series that I guess I'm gonna wait until it comes out. I never got to hop on to it. I never made this choice, and I want to. I listen to you guys talk about it every week. But my number 2 is the number 1. Well, an alpha, a part 1.
Okay.
Mr. Donny Cates, Hulk versus Thor, Banner of War, Alpha, part 1. I definitely have a lot of questions about how we get here and like the motivations, because I think the main thing they keep referencing and repeating happened at the last issue of Immortal Hulk, which I didn't read,
Mhm.
which is the series before Donny Cates took over.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I don't know. Like they keep making this thing about Hulk killing a bunch of people in some state, and Banner keeps saying that it wasn't him. So I don't know what that's a reference to. Um, but they're referencing all the stuff that's going on in Thor. I don't know if either of you are reading Thor, right?
I am.
So
Yeah.
You
yeah, I was
are.
gonna say I
So
heard that this is like Thor and Hulk merging together. Like really, like you had to have read both.
Yeah.
they pretty much explain everything that's going on with both characters up into because Hulk is only a couple issues, maybe 5 or 6 issues at this point. Basically just that they explain how his psyche is split into three and how the spaceship works and everything, and that's really it. And then how Mjolnir has the spirit of Odin in it, and
Mhm.
Odin talks to him through the hammer, and only he can hear it. And um, but art was incredible. Um, the action, it was a really enjoy. I was just like, oh, this is sick. Like I'm confused why and how we got to this point, but it was jam packed with action. I enjoyed the dialogue. I liked the direction and pacing. Um, Inking here was incredible. Like the colorist was on point. Um, and I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, and it's all being like narrated by the Watcher.
Okay, interesting.
So I always enjoy when they do that.
Oh, dude, I
Um,
was I was just gonna say I always enjoyed the Watcher popping in and like narrating something. I don't know. I feel like it adds a certain gravitas to the whole situation. You know?
Yeah. When you say the Watcher, are you talking about Uatu?
yeah,
Yeah. See, that kind of takes me away from it because currently in Fantastic Four, the Reckoning War, Uatu is imprisoned. So like all of his Watcher buddies are like, "Fuck that guy," and they threw him in jail. So like I don't want to explain more than that, but so I'm just like, man, why you do that? Because Marvels and their events have not been linking. We've been talking
no,
about this.
I've
Yeah.
been saying
Yeah.
this, and you guys keep
Yeah.
writing it off. Oh, not all event, time on the, but like they used to be really,
Yeah.
really good with it, like better than any other company, and now I feel like they don't even care. Like
They got
their
confident
their editor in chiefs, their editors aren't even like considering continuity as a question. They're just approving anything that gets thrown.
because they know that you're gonna buy it anyway. And and that's why I'm glad
Um,
to say I haven't bought any Marvel books in the last 2 weeks, which is gonna change next week, but that's neither here
it
nor
was
there.
it was a solid issue. It's
Yeah.
why it's my number two. I'm loving the Hulk run. I really like Johnny Cates' writing and how creative and unique this is. And both characters right now, their runs are very unique and different for what they've done in the past. And seeing them fight is really cool, especially because it's a different version of Hulk. Like, you know, I really like the psychology that he used for Hulk, how it's Hulk's body, Banner's mind, and Hulk's mind, and Banner's kind of gone crazy and taken over.
Mm.
So
Um.
I really,
Yeah. No. I was just gonna say I definitely agree on that like psychology aspect. It actually made my number 4 pick, and it was almost gonna be my number 3 pick. Um. I am I am lost a little bit on the Hulk stuff, like you mentioned. They do a good job of setting up the overall premise, and
yeah, they basically explain everything. Like,
yeah, and you're not completely lost, but I do wish that number one I would have read a little bit more of the previous volume, uh, excuse me, of Hulk. I haven't been
yeah,
reading Donny Cates' current run. I really do want to catch up, but I have been reading his Thor run,
yeah. Well,
which has been fantastic.
he explains his own run pretty good. Like he kind of leaves
Yeah,
out
no,
like
I know.
the thing that happened at the end of the last issue, but um I also did not read Immortal Hulk, so that last series, like you, I'm also like a little
Yeah,
lost on. Um, because they're referencing something, which I, props to him for referencing Al Ewing's run. Like, I appreciate that, but
Yeah.
I didn't read it, so like that's the only thing that's kind of like giving me like an issue with the book. Besides that, I love it. I thought it was a good issue.
Yeah. And the action, like you mentioned, it's what you would hope from.
It's fun. It's really fun, and it's really
Thor.
good looking.
Yep.
That's good.
Cool.
All right, Carlos. So you already gave us your number one, but what's your number two?
Yeah, man. For number two, I gotta say it's X-Men number 11. X-Men number 11. And the reason why it's number two for me is because I was falling off on X-Men for a bit, but I've always enjoyed X-Men taking on random kind of heroes, and seeing MODOK team up with basically Orcus, and it not being goofy. Typically when MODOK shows up, like, it's goofy, man. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of a throwaway character, or villain, at least for me. But the dude is like dangerous in his team up with Orcus, and seeing Dr. DeVoe, I think it's his name, and Dr. Stasis, actually. Sorry.
Did we read the same issue?
Why?
Because you sound like you read a whole different issue than what I read.
Why?
MODOK was like not even in it.
No. But what I'm saying is, this storyline takes after the whole like events with MODOK and what the setup was for this issue, basically, with the with them trying to infiltrate the X-Men and everything that's going on with Cyclops. It's basically like a build-up on the last issue.
It's
and
built
also,
up on the last 6 issues.
huh?
But it's all bad.
No, not for me, man. I mean, like I said, I've been enjoying it because of the threat and the infiltration that Orcus is finding themselves having to do, because the X-Men have become pretty much the dominant species in the Marvel universe. And after reading the most recent free comic book day issue of what is
Judgment
it of Judgment Day, and the conflict that's going to be coming with the Eternals, because of the fact that they pretty much conquered death. It gives more weight to how absolutely scared Orcus is of the mutants, and just seeing everything that they're willing to do to take them down. And also, I anytime that Laura shows up, X-23, Wolverine, I love it, man. And she's been front and center this series, and seeing her just awesome. The art is absolutely phenomenal. Pepe Larraz is probably my favorite X-Men artist that I've seen in a while. But yeah, man, I really just find myself enjoying this issue, and it's a classic X-Men issue kind of thing. Yes, there's big events, big events. It's big in scale, but it doesn't feel like it's something that you have to go and read 6-7 different titles. It's a contained X-Men story, good guys versus bad guys. So
I saw a panel on Instagram with Sync fighting somebody, and it was just like the one line that Sync said, basically, I've been at Wolverine longer than anybody. I thought that was pretty badass. Look, why are you mad at that, Nick? Like, that's a badass line, because it's true. It's 100% true.
Yep.
And I just thought that was really cool, and just a good callback to what's going on. But it's also a tease, because like I truly love that little love story, and we just keep getting hints, but not the full.
Yeah, man. And you know what?
But the
I've
thing
never
is, it's not even a reference to the character you're talking about.
What?
It's not. he went and synced with Logan.
And they're
And then
Wolverine.
he's referencing that. Well, this issue had so many holes. It was like
How
Swiss
does that not
cheese.
reference Wolverine?
Because his look. Okay, I this issue is bad.
Laura
It
is
was a bad
Wolverine.
issue.
She's a
It was a
clone of
really bad
Logan.
issue. It was probably the worst issue.
Logan is Wolverine. Like the connection, it all adds up. The maths.
No, but you know what? This this X-Men run has made me care about Sync.
Yeah.
I never cared for him.
I didn't even know his name before last year.
Could care less.
2018.
But
I still don't care about him.
That's why it's my number 2 pick.
It almost has me wanting to read it again. I'm not going to. I'm not going to pick up X-Men again. But
did you start on this new series?
I've read up to 10. I didn't pick up this last issue.
Oh, so the last issue, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty caught up, but
I thought you dropped it a lot later, a lot earlier.
I've been reading it online. So yeah. But that being said, now we are. I guess me and Nick need to talk about our top picks because Carlos already said Seven Secrets, which was a very solid pick. Very, very proud of that. But my top pick, which I have a feeling that Nick and I might have the same one. Superman 11, Superman Son of Kal.
I'm not reading Superman.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, never mind. Superman Son of Kal, number 11.
Okay. Nice.
It was it's confusing because it's got its ups, it's got its downs. Sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna drop it after the next issue, and then I read something and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna continue keeping it, and it's just up and down. But Superman, this 11th issue.
Yo, before you start, be honest. Is it because the heartfelt moments just get you?
It's more than that.
Oh, more than that. Okay.
Yes, and I'm going to talk about it, but it's more than that. So basically, in this issue, John is struggling to believe Batman when he says that his boyfriend is dangerous, and he goes to clear his head. I really like this moments with John because he wants to do something as a child. Like you're saying, Bailey's a kid. John is, he's 17 years old. He's a kid, but he also knows his mantle. He knows that he can't just act with his emotions. And at this point, he's like, I want to rip Batman's ears off, like on his cowl, but I'm not going to. He just kind of leaves and storms off, and then he goes to clear his head. He goes to not to Gotham, to Bloodhaven, and he talks to Nightwing and asks him for advice on what he should do. And after that, he goes to the Hall of Justice, and he talks with Wally about something else, completely different. But it does have to do with the end of Bendix's reign. So that's the summary of the book. Like you mentioned, the heartfelt moment between Pa Kent and Batman. I love that. Like that was such a good scene of just letting him know, like, kids will be kids. I have more experience raising Superman than you do. And like basically just saying, like, didn't you almost marry Catwoman? Isn't Damian?
Dude, no.
He was like, isn't Damian's mom an assassin? Like,
no.
Like people make mistakes, and he's like, well, yeah, but when Superman makes mistakes, it was really good. Like Pa Kent, he's a real one for sure. I like the inclusion of more heroes. Like we're always talking about, like, why doesn't Batman call Superman when something goes down? Why doesn't it? And in this one, Nightwing is fighting some arsonists, and Superman calls him, and he's like, hey, do you mind if I help you? He's like, yeah, absolutely. Come on, help me. There's some fires going on. Come join in on the fun. He's like, I don't want to impede on your territory. He's like, no, I don't have an ego like that, And I like that because that's what it should be. It's in a world with heroes, you should be able to protect everything, and not just be like, oh, that's not my jurisdiction, And then, like I said, Wally shows up, which was pretty cool. And then finally, just again, John Kent, he's doing an excellent job being Superman. He's being very truthful to the character. He's being smart. He's being thoughtful. He's being a kid. Also, like he's doing all of it perfectly. So
it's believable, right?
And it is believable. Yeah, believable. Like he was definitely raised by Clark Kent and Lois Lane. Like, so
I honestly I've missed one issue number 10 now, or no? What is it?
This is 11.
No, it's 11. I dropped off on, I think it was 8 that I mentioned or something like that. And I gotta catch up because it started kind of like veering towards not necessarily boring, but it just kind of started stalling out for me. But I gotta catch up.
It's getting better.
Okay, but I will ask though, is Batman still being super like coy about why Jay is dangerous?
No.
You don't have to spoil it, or like do we finally know now
So-
why he thinks why Bats thinks what he thinks?
I won't like completely spoil it, but basically, Batman tells him specifically, "This is why
Okay,
we
good.
don't trust
Okay,
Jay."
good. I appreciate that because
and
I
then-
hate it when like you just drag on like the secret. It's like tell him why, dude. Like you
Yeah.
know.
And then that's the thing that Jay goes to, or not Jay, that John goes to Nightwing to talk about. He's like,
Oh,
should
okay.
I spy on Jay to see if he'll tell me the truth? Should I like try to uncover some stuff? And he's like, Nightwing's like, that's not you. That you're not Batman. You don't find that. He's like, all right, so should I just talk to him straight face to face? He's like, that sounds like Superman. And so, and that's what he does, and he confronts Jay about it. And it's just all of that. The confrontation sounds, the word confrontation sounds more negative than I'm meaning it to sound, because it's a conversation, which is like the most logical thing to happen in comics, and never happens. Like when it could literally just be a conversation, it never happens. This is a conversation.
All right.
I like to see that. So
I appreciate that a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I did the same thing as Carlos. I fell off, I think around issue 7. I might have been the one I skipped, or issue 8. And then I got the issue that crossed over with Nightwing.
Mhm.
So I dropped off the issue before the Nightwing crossover, got the Nightwing crossover, and then dropped off again. But like you said, it's like a series that like goes up and
very
down. It's
roller
all over
coaster.
the place. But I do think his writing's pretty good, and from what the scenes and stuff that I see posted online, it looks like it's a solid series. I just don't think I can deal with a series that's so all over the place and isn't consistent.
I think the main problem is that people want a powerful villain, and Bendix is a powerful political villain, and that's what makes it harder for Superman to just be Superman, go punch the guy, and that's it. And this one, it's a little bit more of a process to defeat this villain, but by the end of this issue, he's gonna make it a little easier to just punch him.
You know,
get him out of the way.
Now that you brought that up, another thing that I wouldn't say bothered me, but it just kind of turned me off a little bit, is that he definitely feels like in like a Lex Luthor analog. Just how are you gonna top Lex Luthor, man? Because again, like you mentioned, Supes can't go full on Supes against Lex, but Lex is, I mean, he's Lex, man.
Lex,
you know what I mean? So
when Lex puts on his suit, that becomes the villain that people want. Like his like little battle suit that he has.
Yeah, but even without that, he's always been that villain that he's dangerous as hell, even without his suit.
That's what I mean.
Know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Like, so when Lex is Lex, he's a great villain. When Lex puts on the suit, he's the villain that I feel like people want this Superman to have, because there's no action really happening.
Oh,
I
see. Gotcha.
That's what I mean.
That makes sense. Okay, yeah. And that's why, like, I haven't really, well, I didn't really, I guess, appreciate, like, Bendix as a villain as much, and why it kind of felt a little bit flat. But it looks like it is getting better. So I gotta jump back on it, man.
I definitely at least catch up to it. After that, if you want to keep going, whatever. But
yeah,
I would say this issue here, again, it's my top pick of the week, and it's not lightly. I definitely debated. So it's
man, because
it's a good book. And again, like you said, the heartfelt moments really ramp it up there. So
yeah. Okay. Because man, topping it over 7 Secrets,
that's tough.
I'm gonna take your word for it, man. I'm gonna take your word for it.
All right, so don't go and read it and then go message me and be like, "Hey, simp, the Tom Taylor simp." I don't want to hear that. No. All right, Nick, can you top Superman 11?
No, but I got Batgirls issue 6.
All right. I'm still enjoying Batgirls, man. Like, I really am.
No, it was. I'm surprised it wasn't on your top 3. I really was.
It was number five, five or yeah, no, five. It's number
So,
5.
It's number
I
5.
know Manny has issues with the artwork here with Corona. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't see any problems with the cartoony style. But no, it was a really solid issue. I thought this was a mini series. I thought it was a 6-issue series, but apparently it's not.
It's an ongoing, right?
Yeah,
From my understanding.
I didn't think so. I feel like at one point it was billed as a mini series. I
Maybe.
feel like we talked about it, but like I guess I didn't. I was talked to Manny earlier that it wasn't, and I was like, why did I think? But yeah, it was a solid end of the first arc. I like this different art style. It's not too realistic. It's fun. It's cartoony, but it has its place. And I love the relationship and the way the story relies on 3 characters with all completely different personalities, and how each person gets enough of the spotlight that you don't feel the title is really only focused on one character, or one character is the lead character. All 3 characters get like equal attention.
It lives up to its name, right? Like
Yeah.
this really
this
is
issue was
this
like
really is a Batgirls book, and I love that.
And this issue was a perfect testament to that, because all 3 Batgirls had 3 different situations at the same time that all interlinked, that they all had to deal with and conquer separately to then go back together and finish the issue. And I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really well done. If you were to tell me this was a 6-issue miniseries, I think this issue would have served as a perfect endpoint.
Yeah, for sure.
So, it was good. It was a good 6 issue. It was a good first 6 issues. And this week was really mid, so it made my number 1. I feel like any other week it would have been number 3.
Yeah.
But it was solid. I love the Batgirls. I really do love the Batgirls.
Yep. By the way, I just want to cut in real quick and say that Bondo better be like upgraded to a regular cast member from here until the end of time.
Bondo, R.I.P.
Dude,
Bondo.
like
R.I.P.
like-
He's done.
like Bondo needs to be in continuity if Cass and Stephanie continue showing up, which I mean obviously they will. Whenever they show up in Batman comics going forward, at some point Bondo has to make an appearance.
I'm calling it right now.
And at some point he needs to be drawn by the likes of Jorge Jimenez.
Oh my god.
He needs to be drawn.
That happened.
What?
No, he doesn't.
What?
Bondo doesn't deserve it. Bondo doesn't deserve that.
Bruno Redondo. He needs to be drawn by the greats, man. But Bondo needs to be a regular cast member, 100%, dude.
I'm gonna call it right now, and
I need an issue where Ace and Crypto are in the car. Absolutely.
I'll get Dan Hip to draw that for you,
dude. You know you would buy that book. You know
I probably would. I would if Dan Hip did that cover. I would buy it. Yeah. No, I want to say that I bet you that the Seer is gonna hook them up with an actual Batmobile status car.
Think so?
After whatever happens in these next couple of issues.
Yeah.
What was the villain in this issue?
Spellbinder.
I liked his character design. I hope he returns somehow.
Isn't Spellbinder from Batman Beyond? Am I wrong there? Isn't there a Batman Beyond character that had like the whole like circle mask?
Dude, you are right. You're absolutely right. But I don't think his name was Spellbinder. I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about though.
I'm gonna do my research and look that up. But that's who I thought it was. Every time they said Spellbinder, I was like, that's from that. But then you know what? It's also reminded me of the 2004 Batman series, the cartoon series. Did you guys ever watch that?
Was that the Batman?
Yeah, the Batman. Yeah. So I think there is a spellbinder in that. I'm gonna have to do my research because I just thought about that. But
I really liked his character design. I thought it
Yeah,
was
it's cool.
really solid.
I
yeah,
like it.
it was weird to see
We
the
get a
horn,
lot
but
of
it was
like
good.
one-off weird like characters. I thought that was one that I wouldn't mind seeing again, especially because his shtick was pretty unique. I know like everything now has to deal with fear gas, and it's so annoying.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I have. I, it's sorry to cut in, but I have been noticing, man, that like in the Batman themes, it seemed like every like huge conflict or every conflict that's going on is a combination of two things, man. Like the Lazarus pits and fear gas.
yep.
I don't know. It's kind of
well, I
weird,
think
but
the Lazarus Pit thing was on purpose
well, I'm sure. But you
to
know,
lead into this event with all of these different titles having to deal with it. But uh the Scarecrow thing was Fear State, but now it's just like get
Yeah,
over it.
a long time ago. Yeah.
Like get over it. Like it's so annoying. Like it made my number one, but like on any other week, I don't think it would have. But
Mm.
it's been a solid run. Solid villain. Both villains are pretty solid, and yeah, can't wait to see what happens this year.
All right. So since Carlos already did his number one, Carlos, I'm gonna let it start with you, but let's talk about our disappointments.
yeah, man.
Bring it
You know,
down a
I
bit.
huh,
Let's bring it down a bit.
dude. So like, fuck. I thought that was gonna make it another week without a disappointment because I don't think that I had one last week. Um,
You started off with none. I think Shadow War
that's right. It
came in. It
turned into
was like,
something, but yeah, I thought that I was gonna go another week, and I swear it may seem like I'm not a Spider-Man fan and I hate him, but I don't. I don't hate Spider-Man. I love him. He's my favorite character.
Right.
And what initially started off as in something that I was gonna be extremely excited for is the recently announced Spider-Man number 1000. So I saw the teaser 2 days ago, right? And it basically it was like all of the different writers that were going to be involved in this project, and there are some. I'm sure everybody's seen it by now. There are some very impressive names up there.
Right.
I'm personally really excited that Dan Slott is coming back to Spider-Man. There's some there's some big unwarranted hate out there for Dan Slott, and at some point, I feel like it became cool to like hate him, you know.
Yeah.
But some of the best like memories that I have reading Spider-Man, and I could be maybe a little biased because I started reading Spider-Man during his time in his run. But anyways, yeah, I was extremely excited about what project it was gonna be, and the fact that it's gonna be like an anthology type of book. I already know that this book is gonna cost $10.
Yeah.
Number one, which would be okay if it was gonna lead into some kind of project. But I feel like this is just gonna be a book that, because Spider-Man is celebrating his 60 years, it's gonna be a bunch of throwaway stories, and the fact that they're titling it number 1000, we're like on issue what 896
We're on
and
94, I think.
894. Anyways, we're not even at like 900 yet, right?
Yeah.
So I don't like the gimmicky aspect, man, of like titling it number 1000, and I hope that they don't pull off some weird like mathematical equation that's gonna make us arrive to the number 1000 like they've done in the past, man. They've like
he made a one-page appearance on this Avengers book, so that counts as one.
exactly. Yeah, or like we're gonna include annuals and events that carry the name Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, the current numbering includes annuals. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So and I hope that they don't try and again come up with some like weird math.
Like they're gonna count all the all the dot bays,
Yeah.
Yes.
The .5s,
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly. You know.
all the one shot ish, the
Yeah.
king size.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I was really excited, man. You know, I was hoping that it was gonna be something else, man. I don't know. Like, obviously, it wasn't gonna be a new Spider-Man run because there's like, I don't know, things like 10 writers like associated, you know, to this. So I knew that it was gonna be so like a special kind of book, but that it's gonna turn into into this. I'm gonna, you know, keep an open mind. But I don't know, man. I just feel like I keep on being disappointed by Spider-Man news, and
Spider-Man.
like, here's another one, you know, and that's on the backdrop. You know what? It follows up with my disappointment for the Spider-Man Venom free comic book issue, man. You know, I just feel like I don't know.
You know what? To kind of try to pull you from this disappointment, though, we are getting an end of the Spider-Verse story, which is
Yes,
exciting. That is exciting. So
absolutely. You know, and I feel like some weeks we need to have a, you know, uh, uh, excitement for the week. You know, a not disappointment. But
we have our thing at the end. What we look forward to.
yeah, kind
No,
of. You know,
but I think it's funny because it's end of Spider-Verse, and I have been talking about how Marvel's been doing too many blank verse, Gwen verse. They're about to do Miss Marvel verse. They just did Miles Morales What If universe. So I was like, I'm hoping that this is going to be the trend of removing those verses because we know that they're out there. We don't need to hear all those stories.
yeah.
You know,
But
at
yeah,
once.
I really am excited though for Dan Slott to, you know, come back and finish what he started, man. I mean, if like I just mentioned, there's some, you know, weird hate out there for Dan Slott, but you got to give that guy credit, man. Like what he created with, you know, uh, the Spider Verse, and just, you know, that idea has been awesome. Every Spider Verse event I've absolutely loved, and the fact that he gets to come back and, you know, finish out, man. What's been a what, we'll say like 8 year, you know,
It's
maybe
been 8 years.
yeah, 8 years, you know, we'll say, uh an 8 year saga. It's just cool, man, and I'm excited for it. So yeah, ending my disappointment of the week on a high note.
Right. No, and but talking about hating authors, my disappointment of the week, or writers or whatever. I read Crossover 13, and Crossover, I was so excited to read it with the number one, and my stubbornness kept me reading it all the way through. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a second volume for anybody that is interested in Crossover,
Oh, this
by
was
Donny Cates.
sorry to interrupt, but this was the final like issue of
This is the finale of this
finale.
story
Oh,
arc,
okay,
but
all
the
right,
way it ends, for sure, there's going to be a second volume. I don't know
okay,
if it's actual any plans, but I think that is the plan at the
okay,
very least. Um, Donny Cates writes about what he's doing in this book, and he knows what he's doing in this book. Like he openly makes fun of himself, basically, and he knows what he's doing is a cliche, it's BS, but he still did it. you and like I can see people getting emotional about it and like feeling something from this book, but I never got caught in that net. So I just, as he's doing it, I'm like, I hate you. I hate you, Donny Cates. Like everything that you're doing right now, I don't like you, and I can see why people would love it. I don't blame people for loving Crossover. I wish that I did like it because it sounds like everything that I want to like about this comic book, but I just don't, and I'm disappointed. I don't know if I'm disappointed in Donny Cates myself, but we're talking about artist hates, artist hate for no reason. So Donny Cates, man, I'm mad at you right now. Everyone loves him right now. He's got the Hulk, he's got Venom thing, everything, and I'm like, nah, forget that guy. So I know y'all didn't read it, but
I haven't, man. Like, honestly, I haven't. And I really do enjoy Donny Cates. I've read just about everything from him. Except I haven't been reading his Hulk book. I just didn't jump on it. I I missed Crossover, and I told myself that it seemed like a book that I wanted to read when it's done. you know,
And it is done.
and
And
now,
I would recommend it. I would recommend it. I'm not happy about it, but I
yeah,
would recommend it.
and now that it's done, I'm definitely gonna jump on it, read it. So I mean, number one, me and you can talk about it.
Hate on it?
Maybe, maybe.
I
Um,
got no interest.
Good.
that's fair,
Good.
you know. But yeah, it's a book that I put down on my list of
Mm.
I'm gonna read it once it's done. I've done that with a couple series, and I have noticed, man, that you really could have an absolutely different experience reading a book, you know, from finish to end once the omnibus or trade whatever comes out, and I'm interested in seeing what my opinion is going to be and how I feel about the story versus you know, starting from issue number one, but obviously doing it in um,
Well, I just
installments.
recently,
You know.
because this 13 was coming out this last week, I went back and I read from number 1 all the way to 13. So
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
did, and it still didn't really change my mind. So
Yeah.
like I was still just as lost by 13 that I was if I hadn't reread it. But now that Nick is saying like that he has no interest in it, I think this is a badass book. This is amazing. I retract everything that I just said. Yeah, I think I changed
Yes.
my mind.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just something that slipped under my radar. I never really paid attention to it when it came out, and then by the time everyone was talking about it, I was like, I always thought the covers were really cool.
Yeah.
But I don't have all the money in the world to put everything on my pull list. There's some books that just have to be passed on, and that was a book for me.
That
Yeah.
you know what?
Fair.
Go to your local library and check out the volume. Check out the volume when it comes out.
All right, it's my time to talk shit.
Taking a drink because it looks like this is gonna
Uh-oh.
be a long one.
Uh-oh.
So, issue 11 of XMen was my
Bro.
disappointment of the week because it was a
Bro.
dog shit book. Worst issue from this volume yet. It was just very all over the place. Art was pretty subpar. Um
Wow.
the
I
the
feel
Sid
like
stuff was
I
okay,
I feel
but
like
it was
this is
kind of
personal. I feel like this is personal.
no. And X-Men is a series where like I'm saying the issue comes out. I didn't really like it. I say, okay, one more issue, and then I drop it. I get the next issue. I surprisingly like it, so I don't drop it. Then I get another issue. It sucks. I say I'm going to drop it. I'm going to give it one more issue. Then it's a good issue, and it's very annoying how every other issue
It's a
is
cycle.
bad.
It's a cycle.
Because as you guys know, I don't know if everyone watching knows, but when after House and Powers of X, I was reading every single X title for about 2 years.
Hmm.
Every single X title. It was about at one point
This
it
is
was
why
like
he doesn't have
15
money
to
for
16.
anything in his pool list.
Yeah, at that time my whole pull list was X titles. X-Men and Batman. It was it.
No, man.
It was ridiculous. But I was reading like 15 X titles. So they slowly started to wane off and whatever. And this series, issue 21 of the last volume ends, right? And I'm like, oh, and then issue 1 comes out, and I liked issue 1, and I liked issue 2, and I liked how it was like a villain of the week style with an overarching villain, which this whole game world thing has been the main antagonist since issue 1. We're 11 issues in. We still haven't seen any reconciliation or any come of it. It took us 11 issues to find the problem and get there. Well, these are supposed to be the best mutants that Krakoa has. This is the X-Men. This team was voted and put together, and it's the best
Just because you
mutants.
vote for somebody doesn't mean that they're the best option.
That's true.
Let me
It's
just throw
supposed
that
to
out.
be this. It's supposed to be the premier team of mutants in the whole world, right? They have all these resources. You have some of the most powerful Omega level mutants ever.
I would argue that
Well,
it's just that these people wanted to be X-Men, they're not
Yeah.
chosen because of their skill, but it's because they put their head in the
Yeah,
ring.
and
You know,
and the only
And
the
they-
only Omega level mutant on this team. I mean, it's really Sync. That's it, right? Who else? Who else?
Jean
Is,
Grey.
oh well, okay, sure. Jean and
Okay,
sorry.
sure. No, you respect Jean Grey, sir.
Yes,
How dare
yes.
you?
No,
Jean and
I'm mad at Carlos for not being the first thing that he says. Omega.
yes,
She's
You know
she's
what?
the most powerful
yes.
mutant at all.
Jean and Sync.
It's obvious. It's so obvious he
And I'm
doesn't.
pretty sure Rogue is also an Omega because
No.
she
I
can take
don't
anyone's
think
powers.
was that.
I don't think she was classified as one.
Yeah,
though.
she wasn't classified as a Omega. And I apologize for my Jean Grey oversight. I've just always considered her an Omega level. My bad.
That's good. That's
And I
leader.
personally feel like Polaris could be on that level too.
I've always felt like Polaris should also be classified there, and I feel like she's always been overlooked. But yeah, like Manny said though, this team was more because of a vote of the people that they want to see lead the X-Men team, and for the values and all this stuff, you know, that the team
Still,
stands
they're
for
all
now.
they're all besides Sync, they're all really experienced being on main X-Men teams.
okay. Yeah. I thought you were gonna go
I'm
somewhere
not
else.
talking shit. I'm not
No,
talking shit on Sync.
I thought
I'm
you were
just
gonna go
saying,
like he's not
if you
experienced.
go through X-Men teams throughout history,
Mhm.
all these other characters have been on multiple teams,
Yeah,
have experienced things. Most of them have led teams.
okay.
Yeah,
you know,
in a way. I mean, yeah,
Polaris leading X Factor with Havoc.
she did.
You know, Rogue led the X-Men for a while.
She did.
Jean and Cyclops have both led the X-Men. You know,
That's fair.
it was just too many plot holes that just conveniently just exist so that there's a story, so that there's a plot that's going forward when these super powerful mutants, like it would, if any other team, I wouldn't say, but this team is stacked.
All right.
That's fair.
Like, there shouldn't be these problems. There shouldn't be these plot holes. There shouldn't be these obstacles that just kind of randomly get thrown in the way. You have an elite team of X-Men. Like, this is like up
Basically,
there with one of the most stacked teams we've ever had.
basically they shouldn't have got taken. They should not have gotten taken by surprise the way that they did.
No,
I get it.
and now they have to fight Wolverine, which makes no sense. I feel like she wouldn't allow that to happen. Her healing factor would have stopped it from taking over or something. You know, excuses that have been solutions in the past just aren't. The stuff with Dr. Stasis and the whole doctor, you know, Mr. Stasis, this Stasis, that is just annoying. Like, not much of a disappointment, it's just a pet peeve, but that just could be me personally. And the whole Captain Krakoa thing in general is just annoying. It has been annoying.
I agree with
So
that.
that I absolutely do agree with, and I hope that it is something that is resolved sooner rather than later.
The fact that Dr. Stasis knows that it's Cyclops and is just like, oh, you don't have to do that. If you have such a problem with the mutant, just expose them. Like, if you know it's Cyclops,
They're playing chess, man.
you
You're
have
over
a
here
government
playing
organization.
That's fair.
Look, none of the other organizations that have commanded like Sentinel level tech against have ever had a problem not trying to expose an X-Men.
And
They
where are they
exposed people
now?
that weren't even mutants.
And where are they now? Done.
Who
Done,
knows?
bro.
In
They lost.
whatever universe we're
They
in,
lost.
whatever life
They lost that chess game.
you don't even know because we're in life 1235 of Memoriam of Taggart.
That is one pet peeve that I have with this. Is like, did those stuff happen? Because they always get referenced, but did they happen? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But to me,
But,
I feel like they did happen. They absolutely did happen.
I was really enjoying the villain of the week style, and when the issue reflects that villain of the week, like overarching plot, but like this is a new conflict with a new. We didn't even see Sunfire, right? He wasn't even in this issue. Oh, he was.
No, it was.
He was, but barely.
Yeah.
But like I, you know, last issue was really good. I liked it. You know, that was the MODOK issue, right?
Yep.
MODOK comes, they do the thing, they have the they have this villain they have to take on. They take it on in this issue. By the end of the issue, that conflict is over. Adds up to the overarching conflict. I like that. This issue, nothing was solved at the end. It was just, oh, this is going to happen in the next issue. Oh, this is going to happen in the next issue. Two concurrent, well, I guess 3 concurrent storylines. We don't even know what's going on with Sync and the cat guy, tiger guy. Like, so now we have 3 things that were just cliffhangers, which is just every issue nowadays is just a story should have a start, a middle, and a conclusion. If an issue doesn't have a conclusion and they think, oh, we'll just, 4 issues without any conclusions, without any development, or we just gain more and more insight leading to a conclusion. I get the overall plot thing, but each issue should have something you gain from it, like solid end.
All right. That sounds like you're disappointed. You got a disappointment.
Yeah. Also, I don't like landscape variant covers. I don't even know why I bought this.
Why'd you get it?
Because he just wants to say that he doesn't have money. All right, let's move on forward to what we look forward to in the next week. And then that's how we're going to end the show. For me, I have 8 books. And the ones I'm looking forward to the most, World's Finest, of course. And a new book called Breakout. This is the 2nd issue. I want to see how it goes. I want to see if it maintains its momentum. But other than that, I have a pretty good stack. I think next week is going to be pretty easy to make my top 3, but easy in the way that it's just like they're all whatever, put whatever on top. So, Nick, what do you got?
I forgot that your favorite book was coming out, World's Finest.
Yeah, it is a favorite, 100%.
Yes, I had to 100%. Make sure I added that to my pull list because it was not added to my pull list. So I would say I've been really enjoying Flash lately. I can't wait to see the next of this Wallace West storyline. Obviously, I'm pumped for Power Rangers issue 19 with the introduction of Andros as a Red Space Ranger. And then we have issue 3 of Slumber, along with issue 2 of Alice Ever After, which I think I'm the only one reading it.
Yeah, I'm not reading it.
Yeah. So that, and Carlos is going to talk about House of Slaughter. So,
I'm going to read the first issue of House of Slaughter because I'm sorry, not the first issue. Issue number 6 is coming out. The first issue of this new, yes, correct. Of this new storyline. We're gonna have a new protagonist. I'm gonna read it, see what it's all about. But yeah, I am excited about that. Oddly enough, though, I'm not as excited for that as I am for World's Finest and Slumber number 3. Man, like Slumber, the more that I think about Slumber, I don't know why. It's just a book that's like really growing on me, man. Like
it's really interesting artwork.
Yeah, it's just an interesting premise, The world is it's weird, man. I mean,
I really feel like it's gonna break. Like if you look at the covers for the ones that are coming up, like it's really gonna get emotional for our main character.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a weird book, and you would hope so from a book that has to do about a nightmare, dreamscape hunter, right?
Right.
But yeah, Slumber's really growing on me, man. So excited about that. World's Finest has been top, man. Yeah, I can't wait for it. And I already mentioned House of Slaughter. But yeah, those are the books that I'm looking forward to the most. I do feel like these last couple of weeks and the next couple of weeks, all of the books have been kind of spread out in terms of like my favorite ones and the best ones, because for the longest time it felt like every week, like how the hell am I gonna pick between all of these books, at least for my number 1 or number 2. Your number 1 pick is for the most part always pretty clear.
Oh, you know what's coming out next week that's gonna be in Carlos's top 3? Savage Avengers issue 1.
I'm gonna read. So I'm not looking forward to
Dog,
it.
you got so excited. You were so pumped when you saw that lineup.
Yes, but with the way that a lot of the, not gonna lie, man, with the way that a lot of the newer like Marvel books have been coming out, I don't know, man. I'm cautiously optimistic. I was very excited for, and I am very excited for the lineup, but I'm still cautiously optimistic. So we'll see. But I am getting the first issue though. Yeah.
I'm out with that. No, I read
Done.
the first volume, and the first volume started and finished great. It was very fun, but not enough to pull me for this one. And I don't really like. I don't know how to say his first name, but use art, his art lines and stuff. I don't like it. Lionel, Lionel,
Lionel Francis, you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for me.
We'll see though. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna try their first issue. Just see what it's all about. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So
That's it for me.
Everybody's books. That was everybody's top picks. Not that bad of a week. I thought it was a pretty slow week, but honestly, not too bad. Good conversation from everybody.
Absolutely.
Everyone that's watching, if you liked what you watch, again, make sure you like the video,
Please.
subscribe. Let us know what you're reading. If we missed anything, if any of our tops they shouldn't be tops at all, let us know. Again, Nick at Vinyl Casket Comics, Carlos is Omni City Comics, and I'm Manny Reads Comics. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.